All right, good morning, PTNI's Daily Show. Happy Thursday morning, live here, Facebook, live here, Instagram. Hope your Thursday is off to a great start. My name is Alan. I'll be your host today, serving as COO of ICE and faculty member in our fitness athlete division here on Leadership Thursday, talking all things leadership. It's Leadership Thursday, which also means it is Gut Check Thursday. So Gut Check Thursday was posted last night. A little bit more simple and definitely a lot bit quicker than last week's Gut Check. This week we have a 10-minute AMRAP, so as many rounds or reps as possible in 10 minutes. We're doing 5 power snatches. The prescribed weight there, 135 for guys, 95 for ladies. Something heavy for that power snatch. And then we've got 5 box jumps, 30 inches for guys, 24 inches for ladies. So heavy snatch, tall box jump, 5 reps of each. Should be able to cycle through 6 to maybe even 8 rounds for you stronger athletes that have good ups on the box jump. Other than Gut Check, we've got some courses coming up. Jeff is going to be in Chicago this weekend for lumbar spine management. Jeff Moore. That course has 2 spots left. And then we kick off a whole bunch of online courses beginning the first week of September after Labor Day, and a whole bunch of live courses starting September 12th. Uh, Mitch will be down in Nashville, Tennessee at CrossFit Hendersonville for Fitness Athlete Live on September 12th and 13th. We've got some other courses around the country that same weekend, and basically at least 5 courses a weekend between September 12th and Christmas. So come check us out at a live course in your area if you can, or check out an online course. So today, Leadership Thursday, what are we talking about? We are talking about proactive versus reactive leadership styles, and kind of asking the question, which one is better? And so let's define them both before we move on. And so looking at what is a proactive leader. Proactive leader is kind of taking ownership of different things from a managerial standpoint, and trying to get ahead of issues, try to forecast problems and predict issues that are going to happen before they happen, and just in general trying to be proactive about the way that they lead their team. Versus a reactive leader is going to be obviously reacting on the back end to things that have already happened. And so, the question is, what type of leader is best? And let's get into kind of the details of each type, and then talk about what style is best. And so, what we like to see in a proactive leader is that they are trying to be forward thinking. They try to predict what issues are going to happen and keep their team kind of ahead of the curve of issues that could happen. And so these are folks who contact their team, let their team know, very detail-oriented, things that are coming up. This person may be really into reminders. Hey, don't forget, this is coming, this is coming. We like to see proactive leadership when we are beginning a business, or when we are onboarding a new team member, and kind of being maybe sometimes seen as over the top in making sure that person is aware of how things are done, how things are done around here, how we do things, letting that person know these are the rules, these are the ways we do things. And again, the name itself implies just being very proactive with their leadership style. Don't forget, tomorrow at 8 a.m. you have this thing coming up. Don't forget, this is how we take a new patient in and make their chart in WebPT. Always trying to stay ahead, and keeping issues from arising by being ahead of them, and keeping information flowing a lot. Now, the other side of that is the reactive leader, who is going to just respond when issues come up. And so who may be not too detail oriented, who maybe only follows up on an issue when it becomes a problem, and waiting for issues to happen before taking action, and kind of just letting the team, letting people on their team kind of take charge, and then only intervening when reaction to a problem comes up. Now, there's a continuum here. There's a dichotomy here with both types of leadership, as there is with everything in life. So that proactive leader, at first, maybe again with that new team member, with that new business may be not seen as over the top, but obviously as a person becomes accustomed to their job and to their team and they understand what's expected of them, they understand deadlines, that sort of thing, then that proactive leader can trend towards being a micromanager, right? Don't forget, you have a patient tomorrow at 7 a.m. Yes, I know, I have a patient every day at 7 a.m. You don't need to remind me that I have a patient at 7 a.m. You are starting to micromanage me through your proactive behavior. And so if we're not careful, that kind of gentle reminder and detail-oriented nature of a proactive leader can trend towards micromanaging. And if there's one constant about every human in general, humans do not like to be micromanaged, right? They do not like to have their hand held, especially with very, very, very small tasks that don't require a lot of help. There are people who thrive on having a schedule given to them, on having a timetable and deadlines and structure. They thrive off having that structure, but you don't need to kind of hold their hand through every portion of their day or all of their tasks. It starts to become and be seen as being micromanaged, and no one likes that. The inverse with that reactive leader is that some folks can feel like they're set up for failure if you're only reacting and saying, hey, you messed this up, you did this thing wrong, here's how we do it. Some folks will say, well, why don't you just tell me? Like, why didn't you tell me that's how you expected it, or that's how you want it done, or that's what was expected of me? Why did you just wait until I did it wrong to tell me that I did it wrong? Why weren't you more proactive? So we see two sides of that same continuum where there's a time to be a proactive leader and a reactive leader. A reactive leader can even be seen as authoritarian, as you know, the bad cop of the situation, in that they only wait until something goes wrong, and then they may even punish for performing tasks wrong or messing up things on the schedule, that sort of thing. And so the reactive leader can be seen not as a micromanager, but as this disciplinarian type person that, again, no one likes that. No one likes being punished for things they weren't informed about. A really great example is my girlfriend does case notes as a social worker, and she is punished for errors in notes by having her pay docked, and oftentimes it is stuff within the note that no one would know as a clinician, that it's only something that a billing person or somebody higher up in the organization would know. And so often her complaint is, well, I didn't know that was even a thing, and now I'm being punished. I was given no details, and now I'm being punished after the fact instead of somebody telling me beforehand how to do it. If I knew beforehand, then it wouldn't become an issue. So that can be the downside of the reactive leader. And so often the question is, well, what type of leadership style is best? And we know the answer is, of course, this is an and not or situation where we need to try and do our best to demonstrate attributes of both style of leadership, of informing people of the standard. These are our guidelines. These are our rules. These are the ways that we do things. Here are the rules. Now you've been informed, but not to the point where we are seen as micromanaging. Not getting to that kind of hand-holding point, that umbrella helicopter parent style, where we are just hovering and giving too much information and pulling people through too much, giving them and stepping back and allowing them to then make mistakes. You know, I see it as kind of a process where a new person is told how things are done. They're shown how things are done. They're given a chance to make often many mistakes in kind of a judgment-free realm, and then after a point of time, it's normal to expect that person to understand how to do their job, and then switch towards a reactive style of leadership where you can say, I've given this person enough time to learn, and they clearly haven't learned, and then maybe we have to go to kind of the disciplinarian aspect of the reactive leader, but definitely on the front end, being as proactive as we can and making it a safe environment for people to kind of learn the ropes of the job before we just switch to the reactive style. Versus just being a reactive only leader and really just following up on things when there's a mistake and kind of being seen as the punishment person. I think there's a lot of value in making sure if you find yourself being that micromanaging kind of leader, knowing that you're always going to limit the leadership growth of the people underneath you. If you always find yourself as, why am I the one always doing all these tasks? Why do they always fall to me? Because no one else can seem to figure out how to do them. I have all these people working for me, and at the end of the day, I'm still the one fixing all these mistakes. What's going on? What's probably going on is you haven't given yourself the chance to transition to the reactive leader, and given your team the chance to kind of go out on their own and make their own mistakes, and then transition yourself to that reactive style of leadership where you then are saying, hey, you did this wrong, and you don't need to always punish people, but giving people a chance to lead and kind of be independent on their own, and then following up with that reactive style of leadership where we are then kind of fine-tuning things, coaching, correcting. Here's what you did wrong. And then always, I think one of the greatest things we can ask is, do you have any questions? That's something when we bring a new person on ice. I'm kind of really hovery in the beginning. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. These are different resources. Here's how you do this. Maybe before their first live weekend course, being very, very diligent with saying, this is how tomorrow is going to go. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do A, B, C, D. And then after a while, transitioning to that reactive style of leadership where I'm available for questions or resources, but I'm not going to call you at 10 p.m. the night before and remind you that you need to take attendance and that you need to make sure the class works out on Saturday. I'm going to assume that you know all that, but it never hurts to ask somebody, what questions do you have for me? And I learned this from Jeff Moore, and it's one of the greatest ways you can phrase this question is, don't just simply ask, do you have any questions? Because people have some questions, but maybe they're not sure how to formulate them. You know they have questions. You know maybe they're not 100% certain. And so asking, what questions do you have? What are your questions? And giving them a chance to voice those questions and being an open resource as the leader so that you don't find yourself as either on one end of the spectrum as the micromanager that always has to check in on people and fix their mistakes, or the opposite end as the reactive disciplinarian that's always punishing people for messing up. But finding yourself somewhere in the middle where you're kind of oscillating back and forth between being proactive, making sure people have the information they need, they understand what their job is, but also going to the other end, reactive, and letting people kind of go out on their own and make a couple mistakes. And understand and find out what they don't understand by trying it on their own. Because if we never get to that point, we'll always just have people underneath of us who we can't fully rely on as independent leaders. And the whole idea of leadership is to not be in charge forever, right? To have and grow a team that you can handle and hand tasks off to and feel good and confident in them and their own leadership abilities to kind of take over from you. And that's what we like to see in the progression of any organization, is that you grow people underneath you, you hand tasks off to them one by one, and sooner or later they're in charge and you're just there consulting, you're there guiding. And then eventually, with long-standing companies, the person that kind of grew up within the company takes over the company, and it goes on like that through multiple generations of different leaders and team members. And so, it's not a question of which one is better, but at what time do I need to be each type of leader, proactive or reactive, and know that it's a continuum of making sure that we don't overwhelm people with details and micromanage them, but that we also don't just wait for them to make mistakes and then hammer them, because people don't like being at either far side of that spectrum. They like to be given some independence. They like to be trusted with their job and know and that they have your trust and that they are competent in what they're doing, and that you're there to guide them and kind of keep them moving in the right direction, instead of just always being the person saying, you messed this up, you're only getting paid half your normal hourly pay or whatever because you messed this up. Saw that in the Army a lot. Make a mistake and have to clean the kitchen for 2 weeks, extra duty, and have to pay a financial penalty as well for a mistake. and no one likes just being punished all the time. They like to know, what did I do wrong and how can I grow from this so that I don't just keep making the same mistake. Very few people like making the same mistake over and over again. People would like to learn what they did wrong and fix it. That's kind of natural of all people. So that's proactive versus reactive leadership. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you find yourself being that overly proactive, micromanaging style of leader? Do you find yourself being that reactive, hands-off, maybe authoritarian, disciplinary leader? And what are you doing to push yourself in the other direction to kind of find that nice spot in the middle? So that's what I have for you all today on this lovely Thursday. Hope you're having a great week so far. Hope you have an even greater weekend. Remember to hit up Gut Check. Don't forget about all the great things going on at ptnice.com. Hump Day Hustling. Virtual Ice is open. I'm going to shut that down later today if you're hoping to get into Virtual Ice. We have great resources in the Diversify tab, the ICE Foundation, the ICE Opportunity, lots of great stuff. Make sure you check out the website and find out all of our great resources as well on the Resources tab. So have a great Thursday. Have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.